Hello everyone and welcome to Like a Boss. My name is Russ James, and for the past 15 years I've been teaching English and helping people communicate. I've been helping people improve themselves, improve their professional life and their personal life by globalizing and finding their inner potential, helping them find success. I wear many hats and I do many things. First of all, I'm an entrepreneur. I've started several businesses like Vine Education, Vine Dots, all in US, Taiwan, and in Latin America. I'm also a consultant where I help many businesses in IT, biotech, and in education. I'm also a teacher, as I said. I teach English, but I also work with many companies, work with their training departments, develop their training programs. And I'm also a startup advisor, where I take the knowledge that I've gained in the past 15 years and I pass it on to other people, helping them develop their businesses, both in product development and in market development. And I help them think like a boss, just like the name of this course. And many people ask me, what does it mean to be like a boss? Well, like a boss has nothing to do with if you're actually a boss or not a boss. It has nothing to do with your position in your company, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're actually the boss of the company. Like a boss is a mentality. It's a winning attitude that you have in here, and that you carry it with you anytime you do anything. This one time I was in my cafe and one of my staff, she was very young, she was fresh out of college. She's been working with me for a couple of months and she came up to talk to me because she was very confused. She was wondering what is her role in my organization because she worked at my language school, but she also assisted in the cafe. So she asked me, what am I? Because sometimes I'm like your assistant, sometimes I'm a waitress, I bring coffee and food to the customers, sometimes I'm a chef, sometimes I'm sales because I'm on the phone with vendors. And this is a common issue that many people have in the workplace. So I told her, let's go for a walk. And we went outside my cafe and I asked her, I want you to look around and see all these people that are walking by. So I asked her to walk around and look at all the people. Who does she think looks like they're important? Or who looks like they're going somewhere to do something great? Who do you want to be like? And she looked around and she pointed at some people. It was like, oh, I like the way she's walking, or that person looks important, that person looks great. And then we went back to my cafe and we looked at the reflection on the glass and I said, now look at yourself. How do people see you? How do you see yourself? And she started crying. And I said, are you okay? And she said, well, I don't look like those people. She didn't look like she wanted to look. She had no confidence in the way she was carrying herself because in her mind, she was still a student. She never escaped that mentality that I'm now in the real world. And she never gave herself a specific goal. Her mind was still a student. She never got out of that mindset. So I said, that's all right. Let's walk into the cafe. We walked into the cafe and I said, stop. This is no longer my cafe. This is your cafe. And I want you to look around and I want you to tell me what things do we need to change. So she said, that area needs dusting. The chairs are not aligned. Some of the staff, they're playing on their phone. That's not good. And then I said, yeah, exactly. You are now thinking like a boss. And that is exactly what I want you to do. No matter where you are in your organization, if you're just starting out in the company or if you're at the top, if you're a manager, I want you to look at your work, to look at your job like a boss. You may be making French fries at McDonald's. It doesn't matter because you are the boss of those French fries. I want you to make those French fries to the best of your ability. Even if your job is cleaning the floors, it doesn't matter because you are the boss of that floor. You control that floor. I want you to clean that floor like a boss. It doesn't matter what your job title is. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're still the boss of something, and do it with that mentality. I want you to think back to the very first job that you had. Do you remember? I remember mine. I was working in the Boston Public Library, and my job was in the newspaper department. Basically, we had all the newspapers from all over the United States, and people would come up to me, ask me for a newspaper, and I would give it to them. And I remember even at a young age, even just starting out in my first job, I knew I had a responsibility. I was the boss of the newspapers. I controlled where all the newspapers of the country were. So if someone asked me for the New York Times, I had to know exactly where that newspaper was. Someone asked me for the Boston Globe, I knew exactly where it was. Someone asked me where the Financial Times was. That's all right. I'm the boss of that newspaper. Think back to your very first job. What was your job? What were you the boss of? Did you act that way? Did you act like you were the boss of all those tasks you had to do? How about the job you have right now? Think about the tasks you're assigned. Are you the boss of all of those tasks? Are you approaching it like a boss? It doesn't matter if you have a team or people underneath you, or if you're the boss. It doesn't matter. Attack every task like a boss. That is exactly what we're going to do over the next 20 or so modules. We're going to go over everything you need to know to think like a global boss, to act like a boss. One of the ways that people are holding themselves back is with their own mentality. Currently, I'm living in Taiwan. And in Taiwan, we have this great expression called "不好意思." 不好意思 is kind of a way to say I'm sorry or excuse me. Maybe it's something that they say in Chinese because they're embarrassed or they feel it's an inconvenience to someone when you ask for something or when you do something. BBC even called Taiwan the island that never stops apologizing. And if you speak another language, maybe you have a word similar to it. Like in Japanese, maybe it's sumimasen or mugeni dekinai. If you speak Spanish, maybe you say lo siento or con permiso. If you speak any other language, maybe there are other words that you use to show you're being polite. And it's not about being polite, because you can still be polite and formal, but you have to learn how to stop yourself from using these words too much, because these words are actually holding you back. So do you know how to say all of this in English? It's not excuse me. It's not I'm sorry. The truth is, we don't have this word in English, because in English, I don't have this feeling. We don't really say it. We don't really say sumimasen or "不好意思" or "con permiso" when we have a feeling, when we have an idea, when we have a disagreement. Because I'm not sorry. I'm not really excusing myself for anything. If I have an idea, I'm gonna say it. If I have a question, I'm gonna ask it. If I have a feeling, I'm gonna express that feeling. Now, there are ways that we can do it more politely, and we'll discuss that later. But I want you to think back. Stop thinking or stop saying words that are holding your ideas back. In English, it's okay to be more direct. It's okay to ask what you want, because this mentality of "不好意思" or "I'm sorry" or "sumimasen" is holding you back in negotiations and discussions and in advancing. Because if you're stopping yourself because you're shy or because you're embarrassed, you're actually hurting your own chances of winning the discussion, the disagreement, the argument, the negotiations, the sales. You're stopping yourself from reaching success. You can still be polite, but you don't have to excuse yourself for something that your side, something that your team wants or needs. Don't negotiate down, negotiate up. You are making things much harder for yourself by having this attitude. You actually need to be more direct. Things would be a lot more efficient and you'd get much faster results by being this way. So, when you're thinking like a boss, you can still be polite, but be direct. Say what you want. Don't mess around. Don't, beat around the bush. Don't say things in a roundabout way. Say things more directly. And this will instantly give you more confidence, because confidence is the most beautiful thing that we possess. Without confidence, you are making it very, very difficult to succeed in the workplace. You have to go in and tackle every task with confidence. If you fail, if they say no, that's okay. Failure is a sign of growth as long as you learn from it. Some people use the expression fake it until you make it. Well, there is an element of truth to that expression. If you fake it long enough, eventually, after learning from your mistakes, you will make it, as long as you do it with confidence. And confidence is exactly what you need in order to make a strong first impression. You only get one chance to make a good first impression, so make it count. There's a couple simple things that we can do in order to make a strong first impression. The first thing you can do is make eye contact. Look at someone directly when you are talking to them. Many times what I see nowadays is when people are talking, everyone is kind of distracted. Some people are looking at their phones. Others are looking around the room thinking, who else can I talk to? They're not looking directly at the person they are talking to. And that is something you need to be aware of. Am I putting all my attention, my focus on the person that's talking to me? Nowadays, a lot of people are doing things online. They're having either online meetings or online discussions. Sometimes they're taking online classes. And they ask me, can you still make strong eye contact online? Yes, you can. What am I looking at right now? I'm looking directly at you, right? Which means I'm looking directly at the lens. This is exactly what you need to do. Don't look up, don't look down, don't look at your notes, don't look at your computer. Look at the lens. It's a little weird at first because it's like you're talking to yourself, but trust me, it really does look like you're making eye contact with the person, and it really connects you to your audience. So next time you're in an online meeting or online discussion, I want you to practice this. I want you to just look at the lens, because that means you're looking directly at them. Another thing we can do is smile more. You may think you smile enough, but you actually don't. You'd be surprised how many people, when they're by themselves or when they're just thinking by themselves, they're not smiling. Smiling is very, very important. Smiling makes people feel at ease. It makes people feel comfortable when they're talking to you. So the more you smile, the better results you will get. Now, I know we don't judge a book by its cover, but in today's day and age with social media and photographs and selfies, we must look our best. Looking your best is not about being the most fashionable. It's not about if you have the most expensive outfit or the most expensive shoes or most expensive accessories. It's not about that. It's about looking clean and looking presentable. That's the key word right there, presentable, because you are presenting something. You are presenting yourself. So I want you to look at yourself and say, are my clothes clean? Are my shoes clean? Am I groomed? How's my hair? How's my face? How's everything about me? Because I am presenting myself. I want you to make sure that every day you look like a boss. When making first impressions, we must also make sure to listen to the people we are talking to. Avoid distractions like looking at your phone or at other people in the room or other noises or other things going on. Listen to what the other person is saying. For example, I'm a vegetarian. So if we meet in a conference and you start talking about how you love to eat steak, I'm not going to ignore you. I'm also not going to interrupt you while you're talking. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to ask you questions about what kind of steak do you like, or where is the best place to get steak in town. I'm going to be interested in what you're trying to say. Even though I'm really not. I'm not interested. I will never eat steak or go to a steakhouse, but I am showing I am listening to you. This is active listening. By paying attention to you, we're going to build a stronger relationship, and people will notice that, and we will build a stronger connection this way. So make sure you practice active listening. We're gonna talk about this more in a future lesson, so pay attention to that. Part of being a good listener is being authentic. In the previous example, I mentioned that I'm a vegetarian. So in that conversation, I would practice active listening, but eventually I would jump in and I'd say, that's very interesting, but I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. But the person will know I was still listening to them and engaged in their conversation. I was also being very true to myself. If you are not true to yourself, other people will eventually see through that. And when we're having a conversation, we don't want any BS. We don't want anyone wasting our time. So we want to make sure to walk into the room and be true to ourselves so that we show our real selves to people. Because sometimes when I'm talking to someone and they're not giving me anything, they're not telling me anything about themselves, their thoughts, their feelings, their emotion, this conversation is not genuine. It's not real. So I leave the conversation. So make sure when you're participating in conversations, when you're presenting yourself, you are true to yourself. And finally, make sure that you have good body language. Body language is all about being warm and opening and welcoming to people. So there's a couple things you should not do. Never cross your arms. Stands like this. It's very defensive. It doesn't look very friendly. Or stand in like a military position, with your arms behind your back. No, you want a body language that welcomes people in to come and to talk to you. You want to make sure that you also have a very strong and firm handshake. So it's a little embarrassing, but if you're not confident with your handshake, ask some colleagues or friends to practice with you. Now we're like post-COVID, so some people are maybe a little hesitant on handshakes. Maybe some people do like a fist bump, or sometimes we do the elbow bump. But regardless, make sure that you have strong, warm, welcoming body language to other people. It's a great way to show confidence, and it's a great way to make sure you're approachable, because you want people to see you. You want people to say, hey, that person looks interesting. I want to go up and I want to talk to them. So by having positive body language, we are very, very welcoming to people to engage and interact with us. We must combine all of this. When you're at work, when you're in a conference, when you're traveling, you must do it with power. Just like this video is showing you, lots of energy, lots of power. And power to me means 5 things. Number 1, professional. You must be professional at all times. You are the boss. You're the boss of those French fries. You're the boss of that floor. You are the boss of that newspaper. Whatever you do it professionally. So I want you to ask yourself, what does professional mean to you? And are you demonstrating that every time you're interacting with people? Are you demonstrating that when you are interacting with your clients? Are you professional? Maybe for you, professional means knowing where the newspapers are. Or maybe for you, you work in the tax department. So for you, being professional means knowing all about the current tax laws. What does being professional mean to you in your job? Are you acting professionally at all times in your job? O. O is open-minded. We must be open-minded. In today's day and age, the world is very, very different. The traditional way of thinking is slowly dying out. Just think about how much business has evolved just in the past 5 years, just in the past 2 years. Now, open-minded doesn't mean that we have to change ourselves. Open-minded just means we need to be aware of all the differences and all the changes happening around us. Aware that people think differently, that people have different values, different feelings, different loves, different everything. And we must be able to accept other people's point of view. Because maybe your way of doing things is no longer the most efficient. Maybe your way of doing things is no longer modern, no longer up to date. So we must be open-minded to accept other people's cultures and other people's ideas. Accept all the philosophies and mindsets that other people have. And when you start being open-minded and to listen to what other people are saying and to understanding things from their point of view, it is then that you can be more successful because you can leverage that. You can use their ideas and incorporate that into your business model or business practices. Before, traditionally, people are more closed-minded. They're very hesitant on accepting new ideas, on taking risks, because I know everything, because I've been doing this for so long. But let's face it, technology has evolved. We may not like this, but the truth is people now are a lot more efficient and they know a lot more, a lot faster than we do. So you can take all of that and incorporate that in your work, because being open-minded to new ideas, new ways of working will make us succeed much faster. O, open-minded. W. W means winning. Everything you do is a game, and I want you to approach it with a winning attitude. If you are giving a presentation, I want you to win at this presentation. If you are making a sale, I want you to win that sale. Whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to approach it with a winning attitude. And if you lose, that's okay. Ask yourself, why did I lose? And what can I do to make sure that I won't lose again? How can I get better? How can I be better so the next time I go into that room, I won't lose. I'll win. So attack everything that you do with a winning attitude. I want you to beat that spreadsheet. I want you to beat that report. I want you to win that case. Go in there with a winning attitude. W, win. E, enthusiastic. Just like you approach everything with a winning attitude, I want you to approach everything positively and with lots of energy. Go in there happy, smiling, with confidence. Be energetic. Just like you see me, right? And when you see me in this video, I'm very, very energetic. I want you to approach things in that way. And let me tell you a secret. Happiness is contagious. If you approach a project with a smile on your face, with a winning attitude, I guarantee you your team members will feel it. They will buy into that concept and they will also be energetic. We all have issues. We all have things and problems happening outside of work that are affecting us. But we don't need to bring that energy into work with us or bring that energy into projects that we're working on. Leave that outside. You'll take care of that later, because when you're in that meeting room, when you're in that presentation, when you're with your colleagues, there's nothing you can do about it. Finally, and this is my most favorite one, be resourceful. If we have all the time in the world and all the money in the world, we can do great things. But those are two things that we don't have. And the truth is, we'll never have enough time and we'll never have enough money. So we need to be resourceful. Use all the tools available that you have. Use all the tools available to win. Use the people around you. Ask for help. Ask for assistance. Be resourceful. Send me an email and ask me for help. I'm always available. We are living in a great age where everything we have is available to us online. We just have to go out there and look for it. We have to find it. We have new ways of working that are not only improving the work that we do, but also improving ourselves. Just by watching this video right now, spending the past 20 minutes or so with me, you are being resourceful. You are improving yourself. Are resourceful. If you're just sitting there listening to everything and not adding your input, not taking notes, not contributing to the conversation by going to the community or by sharing this information with people or asking for help, you are not being resourceful. You are being passive and just accepting everything and absorbing everything and hoping you would change. No. Be more active. Talk to more people. Ask more questions. Those of you that know me personally know that I always say, if you don't ask, you'll never know. This means ask me questions. Part of being resourceful is learning how to ask people questions, how to ask for help when you need it. Because as I said, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough money to do all the great things that we want to do. So we need to use the tools and the people around us to grow. We have to be more efficient. We have to be more resourceful. And this will make us better. This will put us on the path to success. That's why I say use power. Professional, open-minded, winning, enthusiastic, and resourceful. Are you ready? Let's begin.